And about 3 minutes, Tom, and I'll introduce you and start it.
Yeah. So I can't see anything but my presentation now. Is that the way it's supposed to be?
That's going to be how it looks, but you look great on our end.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. Cool.
Jackie, how do I get my picture off the screen, or does it stay on the screen?
There's it looks like a video camera button there at the bottom panel. If you just click that, it'll turn off your camera.
You're right, it did.
Beauty.
We're all learning something today.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. All this new virtual stuff.
Yeah.
What we're learning, Tom, is that we're too old.
Yeah. I'm feeling that. Yeah. I felt like it was good that I could just connect with sporting. So.
Oh man.
Yeah. No longer,
guys, not mine.
no longer playing 36 holes a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
All right, we'll get started on time here today. Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining this webinar with us this morning. We have a very special guest and somebody who I'm sure many are familiar with, but has a lot of wisdom and experience to share with us. Tom Wildenhouse, as many know, has made a tremendous impact on the game in his nearly 30 years at Old Florida Golf Club, where he's mentored and coached PGA professionals and assistants to be better in their roles. And most notably and most recently, Tom was named the 2021 PGA of America Golf Professional of the Year and was nationally recognized for his efforts in the industry. We're just lucky to have him in our section and learn from him here today and this morning. Before I bring Tom up, just one housekeeping note for those of you that have any questions throughout the presentation, feel free to throw them into the chat feature. We'll hold them till the end, and Tom will give us a couple minutes at the end of his presentation for any questions that need to be answered. So without further ado, Tom?
Well, good morning, everyone. The most important thing that I think I'm going to share with you today is how your leadership skills are going to help you with recruiting and retaining the talent that you have. Jackie, thanks for the introduction. You say that the section's fortunate to have me. I think it's the other way around. I think this section has been so much to me and given me such a platform to do what I really enjoy doing, which is giving back and sharing, and the foundation has been an unbelievable avenue for me to do that and to achieve what I've achieved. As Jackie said, I'm the certified PGA Director of Golf at Old Florida Golf Club. I'm super fortunate and blessed that I've been serving at Old Florida for almost 30 years now, and I hope to share some of what I've learned through that leadership as well as some other places with you this morning. And in my journey to, as we're all trying to find better ways to recruit and retain our talent, I've reached out to a number of people, PGA career consultants, executive directors from around the country, PGM directors at the universities. I've talked with past presidents of the PGA of America, and I've also reached out to leadership experts all over the country in my effort to become a better leader and to be able to recruit and retain talent in a different and a better way. I've been an avid reader for a lot of years in the leadership space. And I've now, regularly listened to podcasts in my effort to grow, to be a better teammate and a partner and a better leader. So to get started this morning, I wanted to share a little story with you. And on the very first day of the new school year at a university, a dean stood before the students and he proclaimed, "The women's dorm is out of bounds for the men, and the men's dorm is out of bounds for the women. If you're caught violating this rule, your penalty is $20 for your first offense. Your second offense will be a $60 penalty. The third offense is a $180 penalty. Are there any questions?" And from the back of the room, one of the students raised their hand and asked, "What's the price of a season ticket?" Kind of corny, but a good way to get us started this morning. So, I don't know about you, but I've had times where I've wondered if I chose the golf business, kind of as an easy way out. It's just golf, right? And helping people and being kind to people kind of came easy to me. So I didn't really have to work hard at those things. And over time, and maybe it's because, of my advanced age, it's given me more perspective. But over time, I've realized that what we do has a huge significance in the lives of our members and our customers. What we do matters. It matters a great deal. Our clubs are a significant part of the social fabric of our members and customers' life. It's a place that they choose to come. It's a place that they bring their family. They spend their disposable income with us. And they come to us, to improve their skills at a game that can be really, really mysterious. We provide a very, very nice respite for the hectic lives. And that was never more evident than when we were all going through COVID. And that's why I believe that we have to take what we do seriously. Each individual action with our members and our guests matters. It can be the difference between them having an ordinary experience or one that truly makes them feel special. And in my view, and what we try to do at Old Florida Golf Club is to make them feel special. And this can be the difference between a good club and a great club, a good professional and a great professional. How we make our customers and our members feel. Your leadership skills are at the heart of creating these memorable moments by who you attract to your team, how you develop your team, and how you deliver on every one of those individual interactions. You don't do this alone. We all do this with our teams every day. How we invest in them, how we empower them to make a special moment has everything to do with your leadership skills. I'll share a quick story with you before I really dive into the recruitment area here. My first experience with recruitment, I was young. I was 16, 18 months out of high school. I had taken a job in Cape Coral, Florida. The assistant professional that was at the club at that time, where I worked in Jackson, Michigan, he accepted his first head professional position. He came to Cape Coral to see me, and he said, "Tom, look, I want you to be my first assistant at this new job that I've accepted." And I thought to myself, "Holy cow, this is awesome! This is great! I'm right out of high school, and I'm a first assistant. I must be good at this. This is awesome." So when I arrived a few months later at Adrian, Michigan, I found out very quickly that I was the first assistant, but I was also the bagroom guy. That was the cart guy. I was the merchandiser. I had to make sure everybody signed a ticket to go play golf every day. I picked the range on occasion, and I was a starter on occasion. So that was my introduction to recruitment. And I think today we all know that type of recruitment isn't going to retain anybody for very long. But recently, as I look at recruitment, I've changed my focus a little bit, and I think about retaining the people that I have. I'm trying to use my leadership skills to retain the people that I have. And the reason I say that is because I think the PGA of America has developed a number of really creative and innovative ways to recruit and draw attention to our business. So to get a better, picture of what that really looked like, I reached out to Kate Dremel at PGA headquarters. And she shared a few of the recruitment issues, and it starts with our PGA career consultants and our executive directors. They're on the ground every day working on our behalf to try to help find jobs and fill jobs. And they are probably the biggest benefit that we have of being a PGA member. We have someone on our side helping us find jobs and recruiting people to take the jobs that we're trying to fill. We also have something called the PGA Reach Championship. We have a program called Beyond the Green, which is designed for kids. We also have something called Career Exploration Days that are conducted and hosted at all of our major championships. And I noticed that they did one at the merchandise show back in January. All of these efforts are targeted recruitment efforts for women, veterans, and people trying to make a career change. And we also have two new ones that are online or are about to come online. And the first one is the PGA Career Academy, and it's in its infancy, but that's going to really help those people that are trying to make career change. And we can't forget about we can't forget about deferred compensation. That is absolutely going to be a game changer for us in recruiting young people to come to our business. And so with that in mind, I recognize that recruitment's still a huge challenge for all of us. It's a big part of what we do to build our teams and to deliver the goods and services that we try to provide. And it's really challenging right now in this super tight job market. So when we discuss recruitment, I think it's really easy for us to focus on wages and think that they're the most important piece of the puzzle. Although in my experience, it's really not the only thing. So, look, certainly people want to be paid a wage that makes them feel good and it's commensurate with the responsibilities they have, but I'm not sure wages are the driver. I believe a few things about recruitment. I think a PGA member's or a leader's reputation for growing people and helping them advance in the business is a huge help with recruitment. I believe that people want to work for a leader that has a reputation for personal and professional growth and that will share what they've learned with their staff. I also think that investing in your people, giving them a chance to make a difference in your operation and equipping them with new skills, all of these things are as effective as pay when it comes time to recruiting. The new generations are really looking for us to guide them, to be the leader that meets them where they are, helps them grow, and helps them advance in the industry and become the best version of themselves. So the few ways that we've already talked about right here this morning as we dive into recruitment is to develop a good system and a reputation for growing others, for helping others grow, for helping them attaining the skills and the experiences they need to move up and to be successful in the industry. And look, it was kind of hard for an old school leader like myself, but lifelong learning, developing great leadership skills, learning to delegate and trust your staff and your teams are essential first steps towards creating. So I reached out to a couple of people to give me some concrete ideas for you all today that are in that industry. So I talked with Kathy Grayson, who's our career consultant. I talked with Marty Hall, who's the assistant director at the FGCU's PGM program. And some of the ideas here may seem a little old school or things that we're already doing, but I think when they come from these people that are in the industry, talking to people that are looking for jobs or trying to fill jobs, I think these are very tangible ways for us to look at what we do and take a deeper dive into them. So the first one, as you can see, is creating a detailed job description with detailed benefits package. Talk about the uniforms, the playing privileges, the practice privileges, things that we're all doing today, but maybe we could take a closer look at what we're doing there. The next one that they talked about was to focus more on what you do to develop your team or to develop your staff rather than selling the facility and its reputation. Sell not only the club, but it's just the surrounding area. What's there to do in your city? What can they do outside of working? Showcase successful alumni that have come through your program and that have worked for you. Providing housing is a really big one right now. Moving expenses, deposit assistance, realtor assistance, gas assistance, anything that we can do to help them really get securely on their feet when they get to our areas. If we can provide great mentorship, coaching on how to build budgets, leadership, teaching, coaching skills, club fitting skills, all the core essentials to what it takes to be a PGA member. Describe your staff diversity, and a topic that we've been talking about now for a couple of years, which is to develop some kind of work-life integration Can we find a way to rotate weekends off? Can we start a time bank of extra hours of time off so that our people can use that? Making a work schedule a month in advance, not week to week. Another idea is to use technology for scheduling to allow shift swapping. You know, I know in Old Florida, we have Paylocity as our payroll provider, and they have an app, and that app has a number of different features, including scheduling, that allows for a manager to approve when people want to swap shifts. Regular scheduled sit-down meetings with the director of golf or the head professional, and regular ongoing feedback and coaching. The new generations are really interested in these last two. They want those touch points with their leaders. They're not interested in that semi-annual, that annual review. They want to understand how they're doing in their specific responsibilities and the tasks that you provide them. Include them in the decision making and the execution of your plan, and include them in the day-to-day operations, and give them specific responsibilities and measure the output. There's that idea that they want more feedback. They want their accomplishments, their achievements, they want them measured to see if they're meeting your expectations. So the next series of slides is something that I borrowed from Heinrich Simonson. He's at the honors course, as you can see, and he's using this really cool digital document platform, whatever you want to call it, to recruit interns. And he's given me permission to use this today, and I haven't included the whole deck of his document here today, but I've pulled out some slides that I think really struck me as a different way of marketing, if you will, or recruiting to interns. So he starts off, by talking about the golf course itself and how in 1983 Jack Lupton created it. It's the #1 golf course in Tennessee. He talks about the geographical location. It's 30 minutes from downtown Chattanooga, 2 hours from Atlanta. Talks about the club amenities, world-class 8-acre practice facility, the 8 cottages. And on the right side, he talks about the tournaments that they've hosted, the USGA events, the AJGA events, statewide events. And then he talks about the internships, so they have a better sense of what they're getting themselves into, whether they're on the spring-summer rotation or the summer-fall. He talks about the pay. And he talks about the housing that they offer, which is free. They have a weekly cleaning service. I'm pretty sure that cleaning service works both ways, as far as the club appreciates it as much as the interns do. They get lunch. Here's an area that I thought that he did a really unique thing. He talks exactly about what they're going to get as far as a uniform, kind of midway through this slide on the left. The 6 Peter Millar shirts, 4 pants, 2 outerwear, and so on. He also talks about the opportunity for them to earn additional income through the different areas there, which I think is an area that I've not used enough. He also talks about the different technology that they have, that the interns will have access to. He talks about the rounds of golf, the number of members, the types of grasses, the caddy program, then a list of all of the different golf shop staff that the interns will be engaging with should they get the internship. Then he really dives a little bit more into the real responsibilities of what the interns will be responsible for when they get there. But I think he does a really nice job of outlining the outside service job internship versus the golf, the golf shop. He shows some pictures of the golf shop. He talks about how they were the section merchandiser of the year in 2008, 2016, and 20. Nominated for a national award for merchandiser of the year in 21. The square footage, the approximate annual sales, and he also lists the different vendors that were there. So I think as an intern starts to consider going there, they have a really good picture of what's going to happen in that golf shop and the brands that are going to be shown. It also includes a number of pictures of the golf shop, and so I think somebody has a fairly clear picture of what they're walking into. He goes on to talk about the guest house and the clubhouses, and the different features that are included in the clubhouse. He talks about their teaching facility, which I'm sure most interns are really, really interested in. The fact that they're a Titleist regional fitting center. They have 2 hitting bays. Again, he lists the different technologies and the fact that they have access to all those technologies. And he talks about the club repair area. He shows some pictures of the practice facility, the building that they have there, and the technology that's available. This I thought was really kind of a cool thing. I'm pretty sure this PGA intern wall is housed in the intern housing that's available to him. And this is how he highlights the different interns that have come through the honors course. And here's a slide that talks about the honors course, the free housing, it's the housing's located adjacent to the golf shop, above the cart barn, so on and so forth. He has a nice bio about himself and what's important to him. And he also includes at the very end testimonials about from people that have worked for him as an intern and then gone on to be head golf professionals, director of golf, or director of instruction, or whatnot. So hopefully here in this recruitment phase, you've seen some things maybe that will help you recruit. There were some tangible things that we got from our career consultant. There was some things up front that were important to me on how to use your leadership skills. And then we have this new digital slide program that the honors course is using. And so hopefully there was something there that you can grab. But now I kind of want to dive into the thing that's really close to my heart. And trust me when I tell you that retention for me is become more of a focus to me. And look, these are just my ideas, right? These are things that I have lived, that I've experienced. They're things that I've learned, things that I have had success with. And I'm sure that you have things in your operation that are exactly the same. You've had really good success in one way or another. So I'm just sharing stuff today that I've experienced, things that we've done to try to retain the people that we have. And it really centers around our leadership skills. And I think this slide right here sets the stage for the rest of our conversation today. If serving is below you, then leadership is beyond you. And it leads me to one of my first keys that I have to remind myself as a leader. And that's that it's not about you. Zig Ziglar said that you can have everything that you want in life if you just help enough other people get what they want. Your role, our role as leaders is to serve our team, to coach them, to mentor them, to provide resources, to remove obstacles so that they can get the job done. If we focus on our staff, if focus on our talent, then they'll focus on our customers. Mentorship of the people that we have at Old Florida and outside of Old Florida is a really important thing to me. Growing up in the business, I didn't know what a mentor was. So I learned a lot of things the hard way. I had a lot of failures. And I would watch people that I thought were successful from afar, and I would try to figure out what they were doing that was making them so successful. So today, I really try to make myself available, our team in Old Florida and anyone outside of that, especially with Florida Gulf Coast University students, so that they can learn from my experience. And I'm fully aware that it's not the only way. It's just my way and things that I've had success with. And hopefully I can help people, reduce learning things the hard way. One of the ideas that I've used to invest in our team is to create this culture of learning or this culture of sharing. As I said, I listen to a lot of podcasts. So if I listen to a podcast that I think someone on our team needs to hear or would benefit them or they might be interested in, I'm going to share it with them. If I read a book that really touches me or really resonates with me, I think someone in the mentor circle would benefit from it or someone on our team, I'll share it with them. And then I circle back a couple of days or a couple of weeks later, and I ask them, hey, look, what resonated with you from that podcast or that book? Trying to create this environment of learning. My goal here to create this environment like this was to help others become a little better at what they do and to help me become better, because I'll learn from them when I listen to them what resonated with them in the podcast or the book. To help them perfect their skills that they already have and hopefully create some new ones. Part of the reason I really like this idea of an environment of learning and sharing is because I believe that proximity has power. And what I mean by that is if you're in an environment on a regular basis, if you're surrounded by people that are learning, that want to learn, that want to grow, that want to improve, it's going to impact your words. And once it impacts your words, it'll start to impact your thoughts. And once it impacts your thoughts, it'll start to impact your actions. So by creating this environment, I feel like I'm doing a few things. I'm adding value to my team. I'm modeling what it looks like to work on myself. And I'm making it okay to discuss personal and professional goals in the workplace. As a result, I've had success in keeping some team members around a little bit longer. And in the process, they become better teammates. And they've improved their skills at the same time. John Maxwell said, and you've probably heard this before, but it really resonates with me deeply. John Maxwell said, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. We need to be demonstrating to our teams how much we care by taking an interest in their personal and professional goals and helping them accomplish and achieve those goals. George S. Patton said, never tell people how to do things. Tell them what to do, and they'll surprise you with their ingenuity. And I've got a story later on that I'll share with you. It's actually a lesson that I learned, and it relates directly to what George S. Patton had said here in that quote. But another way that I've invested in our team is to help get them involved in the decision-making process. So once I cast the vision, I like to engage the team on how we make that vision come to life. They get to plot the course. They get to take us where we want to go. I'm there to offer advice and to look for landmines. And then I try to step aside and listen. I think that's what Simon Sinek's saying here on the screen, that the role of a leader is not to come up with all the great ideas, but the role of the leader is to create an environment where all the great ideas can happen. We should be creating the best and safest environments for our team to be successful in sharing their thoughts and ideas, and then step aside and listen. So I said I had a story for you about learning a lesson, about not telling people how to do things. And it came when I first got to Lowell, Florida. I was the head golf professional. And I double booked myself with a couple of sales reps, and I was kind of embarrassed. And I didn't, as a new hit pro, I didn't want to make myself look bad. I was pretty self-conscious. So instead of canceling, I engaged with our assistant at the time. I said, look, you need to help me. You got to bail me out here and meet with one of these reps. You can meet with the person that I know well. He'll be good to you. But look, here's what you need to know. Here's how much stuff we need to have you bring in. Here's what you have to spend. And here's when I'd like it to arrive at the front door. So we went our separate ways. I met with a rep that I didn't know very well. And he met with a rep that I, had known for quite a while. And the lesson really came when the boxes arrived. And as those boxes arrived, the first box that was opened, checked in, steamed, and put on a hanger was the box that our assistant had purchased. Someone would walk in the golf shop looking for a new shirt. The first stuff he would take them to would be the stuff that he purchased. So I don't imagine you're going to be surprised when I tell you that the first stuff that we had sell through with was the stuff that he had purchased. He had done way more than I would have expected. I thought he was bailing me out of an embarrassing situation, and yet he took that opportunity. He ran with it. He did way more than I ever would have expected. He took ownership of it. He was proud of what he did. And because of that experience, that's why I like to let the team share ideas, to plot the course, to take ownership of the vision once it's cast. This level of engagement for our team has helped me create buy-in and loyalty. We're retaining people a little bit differently than we have in the past. And it also makes them better teammates in the process because their experience levels are going up. Sometimes as leaders, we can see things in others that they don't see in themselves. And I suspect it's because the more gray hairs I get better at spotting talent. And it's kind of humorous about all the gray hairs, but I think it's true. Once you have a little bit of experience, you start to recognize talent in a different way. So when I hear someone in our mentor circle or our team talk about, they're not ready for a certain challenge, they don't think they are ready to volunteer for a certain committee or go after a job that's bigger than the one that they've already had or one they've had in the past, I really have to caution them. And I think this is where Sam Walton's advice can really be useful. We can, as leaders, we can lift these people up. We can boost their self-esteem. We can help them see in themselves what we see in them. And I like to remind them that if you wait till you feel like you're ready, that you have the right experience, the right knowledge, that opportunity might pass. And somebody else will get that opportunity, an opportunity that was really set out for you, and you're going to get left behind. I remind them that no real growth can take place without being uncomfortable. And really, people don't need a ton of experience to take their first step forward into a new experience. Moving forward takes one step. And once you make that first step, you've got some experience. And you can use that experience for the next step and the next step, and the next opportunity that presents itself to you. So I really try to encourage people to lean into being uncomfortable, because it's after being uncomfortable that the real growth takes place. And to be honest with you, today is a really good example of that. So I've been wanting to share with others what I've learned about leadership for a long time now. I just have this feeling that I should be doing more with the blessings that have been sent my way and to help others to be at their best. But all along, I kept telling myself every time it would pop up in my head that I didn't have the right stuff. Maybe my experience wasn't that great. And, I didn't even know if I'd be any good at this. But the idea kept popping up, and because I wanted to help, I acted on it. And it wasn't until recently. And if you want to know what scared looks like, but doing it anyway, I'm sitting right here. That's me today. I was really uncomfortable to say yes to being here today because I've really not done much of this kind of stuff. But if I fail, and I hope I don't, I hope that I'm able to convey to you some tangible ways that you can go out and effectively recruit new talent to your team and find ways to improve your leadership skills and retain people on your staff. But if I do fail, I am prepared to put those failures under my feet so that I can step on them and learn and grow and come out the other side in a better place so that I can help other people. In my view, I'm setting an example for my team and for the mentor circle by stepping out of my comfort zone so that I can grow and improve and share my experiences in the hope of helping someone else. I feel like I'm modeling what I've been teaching people all along. That leads me into my second key for the day, something that I use in my leadership, and that's to help others see a clear mission and make them feel a part of being something bigger than themselves. So I got a quote here from John Maxwell that I want to read because I want to get it right for you, because I think it's very powerful. And John Maxwell said, when people understand the mission, it gives them direction and confidence. These are two critical elements if you and your team want to create a powerful, positive impact. So we'll leave how to cast a clear mission or vision for another time. But I am certain, and you can be certain, that the better your people understand your mission, the more buy-in that you're going to get. See, I believe inside of all of us, we want to be a part of something that's bigger than ourselves. Something that sometimes it takes longer for those things to come to the surface, but I really believe it's in there. And when we can help a person feel that special feeling of achieving something bigger than themselves, we have a chance that that person is going to have a more personal connection with our organization, because we've helped them feel that achievement. We've helped them achieve a deeper desire. Helping achieve that deeper personal desire is helping me create loyalty and longevity. So one of the ways at Old Florida that we've tried to bring our team together and help everyone understand the mission and help everyone act as work as a team a little bit better is something we call the collaboration table. And a year or two ago, I partnered with our golf course superintendent, Darren Davis, to create the collaboration table. And I'll be honest, I borrowed this idea from John Maxwell's transformation table. But here's how it worked. We started with a small group from our golf staff and our agronomy team. We recommended the reading of Patrick Lencioni's book, The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team, so that we can set the table for how teams function, or in some cases, how they don't function. We set at Old Florida the vision as serving the member and creating the best member experience possible. So the first meeting that we sat down, we met in our card room. It was about 900 square feet. And I put the tables in a nice rectangle, so we all had plenty of personal space. So I wasn't sure how this first exercise was going to go. And while we knew each other, I think Darren and I questioned whether we were familiar with each other, but I think we questioned whether we really knew each other. So the first step was to get everyone to share something about themselves that they hadn't maybe shared before, so that we can understand each other a little bit differently. And sharing wasn't required, of course, but most of us did open up. Some were reluctant to share and slow. And had a few laughs. There was a couple somber moments. But in the end, I believe the table felt a little closer, a little more comfortable with one another. So we decided to take the next step in this plan that Darren and I had set out, and that was for the small group to take the Myers-Briggs personality test. Once we took the test, we'd get together the next week and we'd share our results. And just so that you know, I'm an EFSJ. If you're not familiar with these types of these tests, this is what they kind of look like. These are the personality traits and some of the strengths that an ESFJ has. And if any of you that know me might be able to look at this and really see some of my characteristics in this description. But as we shared our personality traits and our findings with each other, we began to see each other in a different way, and it helped us understand why a team member may act or react to a certain situation, because we started to understand their personality differently than we had before. And it allowed each other to kind of meet each other where we were, and it really helped our communication. One of the ones that really stuck out to all of us was with our head doc professional's personality type, and one of the traits that he had was that if you assigned him a project, he didn't want any help. Get out of his way, let him do his thing. If he needed help, he'd come to you. But if you tried to help him, you were just going to throw him off his game, and he'd just get frustrated. And so we all had a nice little chuckle about that because we recognized that in him right away. And so this is another example of how we got to know someone a little better. And these types of things popped up in each one of us, as you can imagine. We started to see, as we shared our traits and our strengths, we can see them in each other. We were able to read each other just a little bit different because we understood each other's personality DNA in a different way than we had before. So after this group established a little different and better communication, we decided we wanted to introduce this idea of a collaboration table to a larger group, and that was to our total core staff of 12 people. And we started much in the same way. We started with Patrick Lencioni's book. We started off by sharing something about ourselves. We took the personality test, we shared, and we had the same experience with the larger collaboration table that we had with the small. We began to see each other more clearly and in different ways, and we were able to work together differently because we understood each other better. We made real connections between the staff. So to close out the 4-week session with a large collaboration table, we did something a little different. We used John Maxwell's podcast of building a team environment that to help us to see what a really good high-functioning team looked like and how they interacted with one another. One of the byproducts for me was I noticed that departments were communicating in a little different and better way. They were making real connections, people connections versus work level connections. And I have this sense that it's helped our member experience. And we're providing a better member experience today because of that connection, because of that communication. All of this gave Darren and I a platform to clearly present our mission and our vision and to try to create buy-in. So with this new connection with our core staff, it also made it easier for us to express our expectations of our staff. We cast the vision of creating the best member experience possible. We shared the vision with that large collaboration table, and we shared it often, over and over and over. We use that term. I use that term on a regular basis. And it can be challenging to say the same thing over and over again. And I'm sure the staff sort of looks at me kind of cross-eyed from time to time, wondering why I keep saying the best member experience possible. But this reinforcement of the mission serves to help all of us remember our why. And honestly, I believe the more that we can do with this collaboration table, the more that we can build a better and more personal work environment where our team, our individual team members can find success delivering the club's mission in a more personal way. And I think our engagement with our members will become stronger. I really know when we've reached a team member, I can really tell because I can hear them talking about our mission of creating the best member experience possible. Or when I hear them describe it to a new staff member, better yet, when I really see them demonstrating it. Once you reach this level where each of your team members knows and can recite your mission, you're on your way to creating a more positive impact for your organization. This experience revealed to me that personal connections and sharing of the mission has created a real bond between the staff and the club. It's that personal connection, how they can personally deliver the mission. An environment where we're all rowing in the same cadence, and including the team in the mission and how to execute and achieve desired goals. We're seeing long tenured employees as a result of it. This leads me to my third key, something that I remind myself, and I have to work at it just a little bit. Great leaders create positive relationships. So to me, 80% of leadership comes down to relationships, whether it's with our families, our teams, or with our customer members. A positive relationship creates trust. And once you have trust, it generates commitment. And once you have commitment, it generates teamwork. And as we all know, once you have teamwork, you can really produce some great results. Positive leaders do more than just communicate. I think they really connect. You know, and I've been super fortunate over some years now to connect with PGA members, some associates, PGM students who trust me to talk about their career and offer advice or guidance. And we talk a lot about comfort zones and how they're the enemy of growth. We talk about how only through diversity can we experience real growth. We talk a bunch about how important it is for individuals to come together as a team and put the team's success ahead of any personal success. If, as leaders, if we can do this, our teams will make a huge difference in those little experiences that they produce every day with our customers and members. As leaders, we can build that culture through developing those personal relationships. And in terms of retaining talent, I think it's imperative that we have strong teams and positive relationships. People don't want to go places where they don't like the people they're going to be around. You know, for me in the beginning, I was a leader because I had the title. I just expected that people were going to follow me because I had the title of head doctor. But in a short amount of time, I realized that I wasn't leading anyone, that I was taking a walk all by myself. So I set out to learn about leadership. I started to learn about connecting with people. Wow, went backwards. Sorry about that. So after reading and researching and reaching out to different people, having a number of conversations, I discovered early on that I needed to change my form of leadership from this dictating and authoritative manner to one that's more connecting and more collaborative. I didn't want to come across as some authority figure. I wanted to come across as a collaborator. I wanted to work with my team to provide those special moments for our members and our guests. But what I discovered was I had to make the first move to connect. It was up to me to meet the team where they were and guide them to be their best selves in whatever season of their career that they were in. It meant that I had to meet each team member where they were on their own personal journey. It was a really big adjustment for me. But it was necessary, and I needed to be humble. I learned I needed to care enough to be curious about their lives, that I needed to know, that they needed to know that they could count on me, and that required for me some sustained accountability on my part. I needed to show up time after time to help serve their needs, their personal and professional growth. I didn't need to be perfect when I showed up, but I did need to be authentic and genuine. I don't know how well this slide's come across on the screen. It's pretty good for me, but I want to share another idea with you where we involved our team. And frankly, I think we're due to revisit this document that we call our statement of values. I think we need to get the team together and sort of review this. But so as we decided to create this statement of values, it's essentially a mission statement for the staff, right? How do we fit in this bigger organization? So I would lead the discussion for the team, but they worked through all the details. They came up with this statement of values for us. As you can see right at the very top there, we incorporated the club's mission statement to be a part of the values so that we could align ourselves with the club's mission as well. And this is a document that I believe we're still sharing with all of our new hires, whether it's year-round, full-time, or part-time, so that they understand the culture that they're walking into. It was an exercise that helped our staff become a part of the process of developing our culture and the expectations of what it meant to be in our team. And it brought our team a little bit closer together in this shared mission. We've got a large poster size of this hanging in our break room to remind all of us of our commitment to one another and to the member experience. And I'm not sure if you can really read too well, so I'll read a paragraph or so here just to give you a sense of the kind of document that we created over the course of a couple of hours. And a couple of paragraphs down, we're dedicated to exceeding the expectations of our members and guests. Their needs give us our direction, our purpose. We work to make Old Florida the best with a positive attitude and commitment to teamwork, striving to improve communication, services, and relationships, making Old Florida a better place to play and work. Together we can do this. So those are the kind of things that hopefully you can read this well enough to get a sense of what this document is really all about. But it was another one of those ways that we engaged with our staff to allow them to help build part of the environment that they were going to be in and some of the expectations for the people that were coming on after we created this. What I found is that if we can be really good at these three keys to leadership and create a positive learning and team environment, we have a good chance of retaining the talent that we already have on our team. And for some of us, like myself, it could be a harsh pill to swallow when you find out that you're really not leading anybody, but you're kind of on this journey alone. I think Ken Blanchard says it pretty nice here. There's a difference between interest and commitment. When you're interested in doing something, you only do it when it's convenient. When you're committed to something, you accept no excuses, only results. If you lead to serve others, if you help your team see the clear mission of your facility and create a collaborative relationship and positive relationship with your team members, you're going to earn their commitment. You're going to earn loyalty and trust. I believe that someone's really committed to a cause or their career, it must be important to them, or they wouldn't do it. If they're committed, they'll put the time in when no one's looking. They'll make sacrifices to achieve their goals. They'll find ways to get the extra work in so that they can become better. All of my leadership efforts, whether it's been at Old Florida, South Florida PGA, the national committees I've served at PGA of America, are really still a work in progress for me, because I continue to seek out learning opportunities through all the different media types and different people so that I can be the best servant that I can be. And I encourage you to do the same thing. Invest in yourself. Grow your skills, because you can't teach what you don't know. I hope today has been helpful to stimulate thought, if nothing else, on how your leadership skills can be useful in recruitment and retaining the people that you have on your team. I mentioned that I do a lot of reading, so I thought it would be appropriate to suggest some reading to you today. And as you've said, and I'm sorry, but I'm a big John Maxwell fan. You can read any of John's books and you're going to come away better for it. The one that resonates a lot with me is the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. So if you want to start somewhere, you can start there. But any one of his writings is going to be super educational and helpful. Another guy is John Gordon. You might remember John from during the midst of COVID. John did a number of video series for us here in the South Florida PGA, and I gravitate towards John's writings as well. And here are the three: The Energy Bus, The Carpenter, and The Sea. John writes really unique style. They're all kind of fable story style, but embedded in the story that he's telling are some fantastic lessons about life and fantastic lessons about leadership. And of course, Patrick Lencioni's book, The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. And I will tell you that Patrick's come out with a new book that talks about how people work inside of their geniuses. There's a test that you take, of course, that seems to be his style. But there's a test that you take to understand your geniuses and how people working in their geniuses are more fulfilled and in their jobs. And again, some suggested podcasts. Again, John Maxwell, big fan. Here's one that really grabbed my attention from the very first show I listened to, the Ed Mylett Show. A super accomplished guy in his own right, shifted his career to really start helping others to grow and to learn and become their best. Here's an interesting leadership and loyalty with Dov Baron. Dov has got a really unique style to his podcast, and he brings on some super exciting guests. They talk about some stuff that can really get over my head at times. But, if I can pull out a nugget or two from what they're talking about that's going to make me better, then I always appreciate listening to Dov's stuff. And a new one to me that I'm just really excited about is How Leaders Lead with David Novak. David was the leader and CEO of Young Brands for a number of years. And his style and the guests that he brings on are super engaging. And so there's just some ideas for you to, if you want to start practicing and learning and trying to grow some of your skills. Look, your feedback's important to me. Like I said, I hope this wasn't a failure today. I hope that you've taken something from today that will help you grow and learn, that helps you recruit and retain the talent that you have, that helps you with your leadership skills. And I'm looking forward to some feedback. Here's my contact info. If I don't answer the phone right away, please leave me a message. I'll certainly get back to you. If there's something more that I can do for you, I would certainly ask you to reach out to me. I'm available to listen or share any parts of this presentation today, any of this presentation with you today. And really, really appreciate everybody being here today. Thank you so much, and best of luck with the rest of your season.
Thank you, Tom. That was awesome. We appreciate the time. And thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Tom has left his contact information. I think I saw him leave the meeting, so we might not be able to do questions.
No, I think I'm back.
You're back? Perfect. If anybody has any questions for Tom, feel free to turn on your turn off mute and ask away, or you can fire it away in the chat, and I can ask Tom myself. But we'll hang tight here for a couple minutes.
I didn't know Kathy Grayson was here this morning. I'd have been a whole lot more nervous.
She's here. She snuck in there. I didn't tell you, though. I didn't want to.
Thank you. Thank you.
I didn't want to give you any more reason.
Nice job, Tom.
Thank you, Kathy.
How are we, Kathy?
Great. Hey, I actually took some little points away from Tom. I love the collaboration table. I think that's an awesome idea, and I hope the audience will implement that. I think it's a fantastic idea to try to take some time out of our busy schedules to get everyone together and just talk and share best practices or ideas. So
yeah, it was really interesting. We were a little bit concerned with how we went about it, but this whole style was a little bit of Patrick Lencioni's. We took from his book and how he likes to lead teams when he goes into different organizations and he helps them. And sharing those things, I'll be honest with you, you got to be a little careful with that because not everybody, as we found, not everybody wants to share what's going on in their world. They don't want you to know too much. And so pushing and prodding in that way could result in someone, kind of pulling away and not being as good a teammate as you want them to be, or that they would have been otherwise. So that's my only caution with the collaboration tables. But man, oh man, what a great experience for us. And like I say, we're communicating at a different level now.
And I think when you're vulnerable, Tom, like you have been today, I think that helps your team open up. And it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be personal information collaboration, but if you kept it professionally, I think people are willing to open up. But when your leader's vulnerable like that, I think that sets the stage for people feeling safe and willing to open up.
Yeah, thank you.
Tom, Bill Plotkin.
There you
go. I just want to make a comment about one of the pieces of information that you gave us. And that is, in a former life, I had 300 employees, and we did personality profiles on 44 of our middle managers. And I was amazed to see how accurate they were with respect to the personalities of the people, but more importantly, the job status of the slot that they were in. For the most part, most everybody fit in the job slot, but I did find two people who were way out of their range. They were in a job that not only they didn't like to be in, but you were able to successfully move them into a slot where they performed much better. So my comment would be to, if you have a staff that has 3, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 people, make sure you give them a personality profile. You'll find out, and it'll help the business so much more because you'll know where they're going in direction. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Yeah, good stuff there.
All right, Tom, you're getting a lot of
Yeah, go ahead.
you're getting a lot of praise in the chat here, so that's always good.
Yeah, appreciate that very much. Thank you.
I'm not seeing any questions at this time. I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Just once again, thank you, Tom, so much for the time and knowledge that you were able to share with us this morning. I'm sure everyone on the call found it super beneficial. I know I did. I was certainly listening intently. I think it's stuff you can take away no matter what point in your career you're at. So we appreciate it, and we appreciate you being who you are and being such a proud PGA professional and a great representative of this section. So thank you.
Jackie,
Thanks for having me.
Jackie, I got one more.
Yeah, let's hear it.
The list of authors that Tom gave out would be a big help if he could produce those and send them out, or you can send them out.
Sure thing. I will send a recap email here, and I'm happy to include that slide and perhaps even the whole packet for people. Not a problem, as long as Tom will share them with me.
Sure, absolutely.
All right, good stuff.
Jackie,
Yeah.
Jackie, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Jackie, Matt Oakley here. I have a question for Tom, if I could.
Go ahead. Yes.
Tom, taking this one step further, obviously one of our roles is to take collaboration into the committee room. How have you been able to use some of your experiences in the committee room to both use your experience to help the members navigate what it is they want to do going forward, but also keeping what your instincts tell you may be the best road for them to go down?
Yeah, thanks, Matt. I think you've touched on a really good topic, and because there is a difference between leading people that are, let's face it, they're being paid to be at the place, and hopefully they want to be there after they experience your leadership skills. They want to follow you, other than they're required to because you're paying them to. But there's a difference between volunteers and trying to organize them and to lead volunteers. So I appreciate that question, and I would tell you that. In the committee room, I handled it and still do really much the same way I do with my staff, which is to be collaborative. Let all the ideas get on the table. Let people make their suggestions. Although I would tell you that one of the questions that I ask myself when I get a suggestion, and I'll be honest with you, I do this when members offer me a suggestion about what we could do at Old Florida. I do this in the committee room. I do it, in the Board of Control right now as well, is when we get a suggestion, I ask myself the question, is this suggestion best for the whole membership of our chapter, section, national? Or is this is this good just for that one person? And sometimes that helps reframe the question. It makes me see the question a little different way. And I'm able to try to redirect, whether that is for if it's going to benefit the whole membership. I think it's certainly something you want to vet in a more clear way. If it feels like it's something that's going to benefit just a small group of people, then you really have to dissect that just a little bit more and see if it's constructive or whether it's just a kind of a personal agenda, which, as we know in the committee room, can certainly happen if we're not careful.
That's great. If I could, just another follow-up question, more on the staff side of it. Are you seeing going forward that potentially back in our day, maybe it was the best to have one or two key assistants, let's say, or golf staff that worked a lot of hours and were kind of your key people. And now with today's workforce, I think we're seeing that potentially having more people there at a lesser time is a better dynamic than let's just say two that work 80 hours a week, and now you need 4 that do 40 hours a week?
Wow. I don't think we have enough time for that, Matt. Maybe you and I can talk offline. That's a sticky topic with me. I'm still a little stuck in the old school methods, but trying to lean into the new generations and really what they're looking for. I know for the first time this winter, our head golf professional Nolan has got people just working a 5-day work week, and I can tell you that it's while I'm supportive of it because I think it's important that we try to adjust and grow. I'll be totally transparent with you that it's hard. If we've assigned a certain project or responsibility to somebody and that person has 2 days off and I need that thing done right now, they're not there on that day. They're not going to be there the next day. For an old school person like me, it's hard. It's frustrating. I'll be honest with you, but it's necessary, right? We have to go through this first step. Like I said earlier, we have to learn from it and grow from it. Maybe what I have to do on my end of it is I have to set the expectations a little differently for that person. Look, if you're going to be off 2 days, you have to have this project done before you're off for 2 days. Maybe I'm the one that has to adjust and not expect them to adjust so much. Again, Matt, I could go on this topic for a long time because I think that, work is a part of our life. It needs to be integrated. And one thing that I would tell you that I have done over the years to try to accommodate some balance in my life is I don't have a work to-do list, a home to-do list, and a PGA to-do list. I have one to-do list. So on that to-do list, it might be call Kathy Grayson. It might be, pick up the prescription at CVS, and it might be make sure the job description is written for the new cabinet minister. I just have one to-do list. I don't have 3. So that's the one way that I'm trying to lean into balance for my life. So while I'm at work, contrary to popular belief, I am there more than 4 hours, but I try to integrate some of my personal stuff into what I'm doing while I'm there at work, because that way I can be there for 9 or 10 hours and still get personal, professional stuff taken care of. Again, Matt, I could go on for a long time here. Maybe you and I could have a conversation offline and I could share, some thoughts with you that I have there. To end on that, I'm really still, and I know I'm rubbing Kathy's ideas the wrong way here, but and I can see her fidgeting in her chair. She's got like 19 things she wants to say right now. But I still have a long way to go until I lean into this whole conversation about work-life balance. So I'm a work in progress when it comes to that.
Thanks, Tom.
My pleasure.
Part of me is waiting for Kathy to butt in, but
Here we go.
Can I say one thing?
Here comes the interesting.
And I'm not going to get into I'm not going to get into the work-life balancing. I'm actually reading a book, and I'm going to recommend it to Tom too, and it's called Off Balance on Purpose.
Got it. I got it.
And have you read that? Yeah.
It's next on the list. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it's a great book, and it talks about and it was eye-opening to me too. We're never going to be in balance. Life's just not like that. So it has some great points in there. We will never achieve this thing that we call work-life balance, but we have to figure out a way to have a healthy life, whether that's at work or off work, or there has to be a combination of the two, but we'll never find balance. So I want to recommend that book too, and I'll send it to you, Jackie. I'll send you the name of it and the author, but I'm reading it right now. It's very, very interesting.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Kathy. Please do, and I can make sure I get that out to everybody who was on the call today. All right, Tom, I'm not going to keep you forever this morning. You've been fantastic. We really appreciate it, and thank you everybody for joining. I hope people are able to close out, the busier part of their season here strong, and look forward to a great summer, and hopefully get to see you out there at chapter meetings or another education or even on the course.
Great. Thank you, Jackie. Appreciate being here today.
You bet.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.